Hello and welcome to another video lesson with Mr. Roman. Today our title is going to be Graphing Quadratics Part 1. And so let's take a quick look at what a quadratic equation looks like on a graph. Well, we know that it's a parabola, which is another way, a mathematical term of saying an arch or maybe like a U shape. And here on this graph, I've gotten two parabolas. So one is a downward facing parabola and another is an upward facing parabola. And the vertex is the blue dot on each of them. And it's really the reflection point of the graph. Or in other words, it's where the arch or U shape gets split in half. So sometimes it's a maximum point. Like here, it's going to be the maximum point of this arch. Or here it might be the minimum point, so the lowest point of the arch. And the next question is, what is the vertex form of a quadratic equation? Well, here we have this function f of x is equal to a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. And the vertex we can take directly out of this function by saying that it's hk. So here we have the coordinates hk as the vertex. Now, the other important part of this function is the value of a. So when a is less than 0, then you're going to have a frowny parabola, which means it's downward facing. And if a is greater than 0, you're going to have a happy parabola, which means it's facing upward, like a smiley face. And so we're going to use those two pieces of information to find the vertex and whether it's an upward or downward facing parabola in the next examples. So here it says find the vertex A and the shape for each function. So let's start with the first one. F of x is equal to x minus 1 squared plus 4. So we know the vertex is going to be 1, which is this one here, comma 4. And so we're going to write that as 1 comma 4 for the vertex. And then we know that A is next to the parentheses here. Well, since it doesn't have a number, it's understood to be a coefficient of 1. So we're going to say that A is equal to 1. And since A is greater than 0, we're going to say that it's an upward facing parabola. Okay, now let's look at the f of x function. So again, we're going to be looking at the vertex. So the vertex here, this one, since it's not in the format of x minus h like it was here, we have to put it in that format. So we would think of this as x minus negative 1 squared. That's going to be equivalent to x plus 1. So we're actually going to call the vertex here negative 1 and then negative 4. And then we're going to call the A, same as last time, so that's A is 1. And since A is greater than 0, we're going to say that's an upward facing parabola. Now let's take a look at g of x. So g of x here, we can see that the vertex is going to be 4, comma 1, and then our a value is going to be, this negative sign here just means it's negative 1. Now with an a value of negative 1, that means you're going to have a downward facing parabola with the vertex at 4, comma 1. Next, let's look at q of x. So q of x, we can see that the vertex, again, is going to be at 4, comma 1. We know that a is equal to 2, and since a is a positive number, it's greater than 0, then we know we're going to have an upward facing parabola. So here you can see all of that. So vertex is 4, 1, a is 2, upward facing parabola. Now let's look at p of x. So p of x, we see that the vertex is going to be at negative 1, comma negative 4. So just like up here. So negative 1, negative 4 at the vertex. We're going to say that a is equal to negative 1, just like up here. And then since a is less than 0, we're going to say it's a downward facing parabola. So you can see all of that listed out on p of x. And then lastly, r of x, we're going to say the vertex is at negative 4, comma negative 1. Okay, so again, when it's x plus the number, we're going to actually take the opposite of whatever this number is. So this in this case is going to be negative 4. And then we know that A is positive 1 here. And since A is greater than 0, we're going to be using an upward-facing parabola. So here we have the vertex, -4, -1, A is 1, and then upward-facing parabola. And that concludes our video lesson.